Jennifer Piggott voted for Trump in the November election. Then in February, she was fired from her civil service job.
What was it like for you when you got the news that you were being let go?
It was really hard.
The man we spoke with is a U.S. citizen. He provided us with documentation of his legal status. He says this experience has shaken his faith in the immigration enforcement efforts of President Donald Trump.
They fucked around and now they are finding out the hard way, the very hard way. So in today's video, we are going to be looking at two MAGA ladies that lost their federal jobs. Now they are coming out to express their pain and regrets in the last election. And the last clip we are going to be looking at is a Trump supporter that was detained by ICE, even though he is a citizen and he's got all the documentation that it takes to be legal in the United States of America. Welcome to today's video. If you're new to this space, kindly subscribe to the channel, like the video, share, leave your thoughts in the comment section, and let's dive right into the video.
Jennifer Piggott voted for Trump in the November election. Then in February, she was fired from her civil service job.
Absolutely, I feel a little bit betrayed.
She was among more than 125 people dismissed last month from the Treasury Department's Bureau of Fiscal Service in Parkersburg, West Virginia.
There's always that back and forth conversation now. It's like, you knew this was coming, but we didn't. Like, nobody that I've talked to understood the devastation that having this administration in office would do to our lives.
No kings, no tyrants, no kings, no tyrants.
The cuts have shaken up a community that overwhelmingly voted for Trump. He won West Virginia with 70% of the vote, one of his biggest victories. But the betrayal felt by Piggott, a church-going conservative and three-time Trump voter, comes as political analysts are examining early signs of a possible backlash in Republican strongholds like Parkersburg, where the government-slashing efforts of Trump and Doge are beginning to hit home.
Elon Musk has basically taken over our government and has calling the shots, unfortunately, it seems to be.
A handful of Republican voters who lost their federal jobs joined Democrats at a recent anti-Doge protest near the Bureau of Fiscal Service offices in Parkersburg. But the federal job losses in the state could soon extend beyond the BFS building, says West Virginia University economics professor John Deskins.
West Virginia is at the very top of the states in terms of the federal workforce as a share of total workforce in the state. So if the federal layoffs happen, if they hit West Virginia, we stand to suffer a disproportionate share when those jobs disappear, when that income disappears, when that spending leaves the state economy.
But in Reuters interviews with 36 workers, business owners, and politicians in Parkersburg, nearly all said that Trump's focus on cutting government spending was a worthy goal. And Reuters Ipsos polling shows Americans' attitude toward Trump are so far essentially unchanged since he began firing federal workers in February. As of this week, his approval rating was holding steady at 44%.
Cutting costs and waste and fraud and. We love that big picture. I love that big picture. My friends, we were excited about that because it is true. But again, I can't help but go back to the fact that what is the decisions that you're making right now solving in the big picture? It just so the concept of voting for that again, voting for Elon Musk essentially to wreck people's lives, I can't do it.
The economic impact of the mass dismissals across America may not be immediately felt. So far, 100,000 government workers have been fired or taken a buyout. Parkersburg is...
That is what you get when you make the wrong decisions, thinking that the result of the whole thing was just going to affect a particular set of people, not knowing that this is going to be coming back to haunt you. So I saw this comment section and exactly what this lady said. She said the quiet part out loud. We didn't think this would devastate our lives. Your goal was to devastate the lives of others. Shake my head. It was fine when they thought that he was just hurting black people, but now it's affecting them. It's a problem. So you make the decision the policies are not favoring you, you got to deal with the mess.
What was it like for you when you got the news that you were being let go?
It was really hard. I was on the phone with my best friend Kaylee at the time, and we were just discussing her life and how things were going. And I looked at my phone and I had gotten a text from our union rep, and he told me that I was going to be fired the next day. And I told her, I have to go. I'm getting fired tomorrow. And my heart just sank, and I had a huge pit in my stomach. And nobody wants to hear that news. You know, it's not something that I'd wish on anyone, and it's something really hard to go through. It's hard from my perspective to approach the current administration with hope. You know, I've been dealing with infertility now for about a year. I've had multiple surgeries in my life. So, you know, going into the voting booth, the main thing on my mind was the same thing I'd been thinking about for the past 11 months. And it was, you know, I want to be a mom. And women who have gone through that experience, that heartbreaking feeling of wanting something that you might never have, they understand how much of your time is taken up with those thoughts and how overwhelming and lonely it can feel. So as someone who is more of a swing voter, you know, sometimes that's what it comes down to, is those single issues.
Riley, do you now regret the way you voted for Trump?
I do feel regret, and I've had a lot of tumultuous thoughts about that day in the election booth. You know, when you're voting on something that affects you so personally, you know, it's really easy to get tunnel vision, especially in a voting booth when you're staring at, you have two options, right? I mean, it's not like you're given an endless amount of options to achieve your goals. And so afterwards, when I thought maybe this is my chance, you know, I also had to come to terms with the fact that I was likely going to be a part of, you know, taking chances away from other groups of people, and that's never sat well with me.
This right here is a perfect illustration of what MAGA voters affected by the whole policy thing, the federal loss of jobs and all that. This picture right here is a perfect description, and it just describes everything. I didn't think it meant me, but now it is haunting you. These ladies, they effed around. Now they found out the hard way. They've lost their jobs. They have to go start looking for jobs now. And who knows how long it's going to take them to get the kind of job they once had.
The man we spoke with is a U.S. citizen. He provided us with documentation of his legal status. He says this experience has shaken his faith in the immigration enforcement efforts of President Donald Trump, for whom he voted, he says. This is what Yenzi Machado managed to record on his phone Wednesday. He says while he was driving to work with two other men, he was stopped by ICE agents on Lamont Drive in Manassas, a short distance from his home. He says he was confused by what was happening, why agents surrounded the pickup truck. He spoke with our sister station, Telemundo 44 reporter Rosbelis Quinones, who was the first to report his story.
And they just got out of the car with the guns in the hands and say, turn off the car, give me the keys, open the window, and you know, everything was really fast.
Machado says the agents said the name of a man they were seeking for a deportation order, someone who had given Machado's home address. He said that was not his name and he did not know anyone by that name. He offered to show them this, his Real ID compliant Virginia driver's license. It has a star in the upper right corner and requires proof of lawful status.
They didn't ask me for any ID. I was telling the officer if I can give him the ID, but he said that just keep my hands up, not moving. And then after that, he told me to get out of the car, and then he put the handcuffs on me. And then he went to me and said, how did I get into this country? And if I was waiting for court or if I have any case. And I told him I was an American citizen. And he looked at his other partner like, smiling, like saying, can you believe this guy? Because he asked the other guy, do you believe him?
Machado said he was uncuffed and immediately released after showing his driver's license. The 2 men with him were taken into custody. He does not know why. The incident has caused him to reflect.
Definitely, because like I say, I was Trump supporter. I voted for Trump last elections, but because I thought it was going to be the things, like be pointless, like just go against criminals, not every illegal Hispanic looking like that they will assume we are illegals,
So, do you think that's what they're doing now?
That's what they're doing now. They're just following Hispanic people looking like.
Immigration lawyers suggest that residents and citizens carry ID with them at all times. In Manassas, Jackie Benson, News 4.
Imagine you being a citizen, having all the documentation that it takes to be legal in the United States of America, and yet you were picked by ICE and you were detained, only for you to say that you thought or you voted for him because you were thinking that he was going to be coming only for criminals, forgetting that this man doesn't care. You see the color of your skin, it doesn't look similar to his, so he doesn't care whether you're a criminal or not. As far as you've got that color of skin, they are going to come for you. So guys, that brings us to the end of today's video. It's so sad to see that this whole thing is just happening. Innocent people are being affected and it's so devastating. A lot of people are going depressed because of this whole thing. And who knows, maybe this man, the next person that might be detained might just be somebody related to him, and most likely this person doesn't have what it takes to be legal in the United States of America, and they get to deport that person. So guys, if you've watched up to this point, kindly subscribe to the channel, like the video, share, leave your thoughts in the comment section, and we are going to see you in the next one. Bye bye.